ex-veterans about Trump transgender military ban, gets 5 answers liberals hate. The left has just about imploded since President Donald Trump announced the ban on transgenders in the military via Twitter yesterday. Unfortunately for liberals who oppose this measure, the media went and asked real people who served in the military what they thought about the decision, and the overwhelming majority gave answers that so-called progressives are absolutely going to hate. Despite the fact that there are things of far greater importance taking place in Washington, D.C., liberals were most focused on Trump's transgender ban yesterday. For those who missed the official tweets, here's what Trump wrote. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow. Donald J. Trump, July 26, 2017. Transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming. Donald J. Trump, July 26, 2017. Victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. Donald J. Trump, July 26, 2017. Of course, liberal snowflakes immediately began to melt, attacking Trump as a bigot and calling him transphobic, neither of which is true. Despite that being the case, it didn't stop the left from having a full-fledged meltdown all day over something they actually don't understand. Wanting to figure out how Trump's ban would actually affect the military and those in it, Age Review decided to talk to those who would know best, U.S. veterans. They gathered 6 former military members and asked them what they thought. In the end, they ended up with 5 answers, the overwhelming majority of the group, that the left is absolutely going to hate, Conservative Tribune reports. If transgendered individuals are being taken out for these procedures and treatments, they are not being trained properly, said U.S. Marine Staff Sergeant Josh Goering. But what good are they if we are over in a war zone and they aren't able to contribute to the fight because they're going through therapy or recovering from said surgery? Unfortunately for the left, the beating had only just begun as others were a bit blunter. Considering less than 1% identify as transgender in the military, it would be a major burden, and the cost-benefit analysis would be in the favor of not allowing this policy to go through, U.S. Marine Sergeant Sean Connor added. The amount of change, cost and redirection would not outweigh the very small pros, if any. To some, the answer boiled down to simple biology. I believe that the infantry and combat arms should stay male. Male, being born with male genitalia, said U.S. Army Sergeant Jay Strobino, a certified badass who was shot 13 times in Iraq. In the military, your roles, positions, and tasks are very clear and outlined. Of course, there's always the conversation about costs in regards to creating a protocol and the endless briefings soldiers would have to endure in order to be educated on transgenders, not to mention the actual cost of transgender treatments and reassignment surgery. Only 2 things matter, survivability and lethality. Anything other than that is a distraction, U.S. Army Sergeant Darian Browning further remarked. We have budget problems, also, already. However, it was the last badass who dropped the bomb to end the war, so to speak. The military is here to destroy the enemy. It's not a social experiment, U.S. Army sniper Gregory Diakojanis said. We shouldn't be using the military as a petri dish to push progressive ideas. In the end, only one saw an issue with Trump's decision, but the rest agreed with the ban. When you consider all the points these veterans made, it becomes extremely clear why our commander-in-chief did what was best for this country by following the advice of military leaders. For one, the cost would be astronomical, and because of the mess that former President Barack Obama left us with, it's safe to say, we don't need any more costly problems. When you realize that less than 1% of this nation consists of transgenders and only 1% of the country serves in the military, well, you can start to see just how few people this is actually going to affect. Out of the 1.3 million members currently serving in the military, about 15,000 are transgender, just over 1%. When it comes down to it, it's downright ludicrous to disregard the 99% and give precedence to 1% of a group in order to be politically correct and appease the left, who are anti-military anyway. All things considered here, Trump made the right decision for everyone, and the left better get used to it. Please share the story and tell us what you think by clicking one of the buttons below. We want to hear your voice.